Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a podcast about people who work together as a couple. Learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together, be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives, or any other combinations of business partnerships. As well as speaking with other couples, we'll let you know of any useful business apps and websites that are out there that our members have come across and shared with us in our regular weekly online meetings.
We're your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. We host online and face-to-face events and we'd love to meet you, so why not come along? The link is in the show notes. Don't forget to check out our bonus episode, which is called The Friday Fix. Our guests this week are Emily and Paul Hughes, the husband and wife team behind The Parent's Guide to GCSE. Now, if you want to help your child succeed, then The Parent's Guide will help you through the minefield of the GCSEs. So without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2. Right, and welcome to our In Business Talks 2 podcast today. Joining us this morning, we have Emily and Paul Hughes of The Parent's Guide to GCSEs. So welcome, guys. Nice to see you.
Hi, thanks for having us. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, welcome, guys. Good to have you with us this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I suppose we should start by asking the question. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
So we run the Parent Guide to GCSE. We're both ex-teachers. So the thing that we've discovered over the years is there's loads and loads of people out there trying to help students. There's revision guides, there's stuff online, there's tutors. There's no one out there that we could find before we started helping parents. And as a parent, there's nothing worse than watching your child struggle through something and not knowing how to help, because you just feel like you have to nag them all the time. And then that just turns into this whole loop of frustration. So we set up the Parent Guide to GCSE, which means as a parent, you know what you need to do and how to help your child to get the best out of everything without the stress, without the nagging, without the arguments, the frustration, because knowledge beats nagging, as is our motto.
Yeah, good motto.
Yes, I saw that as your strapline on your websites, and we've been there, both been there, and done that.
We've got the T-shirt, yeah,
and we know exactly. Yes, it would have been very helpful
been
to
useful,
have something
Yeah.
like this. So
because you're right, you're not prepared as a parent, are you? For this, you don't really know what's going on, do you? That's the problem.
There's so many books out there about how to have a baby, how to then bring up the baby, etc., etc. But once they turn into teenagers, apparently, you just got to make it up as you go along. So I think there is definitely a need there, and that's what we've sought to do. So
there's not even a community. You know, when you have small babies, you've got mums and toddlers and the NCT before you have the baby. Just there's no community groups, and because you don't do the school run anymore, you don't have your little group of mums that you chat to, or dads. Sorry, goodness, get myself in trouble there with Paul, if nothing else. But you don't have that community anymore. You're not as close to another group of parents with kids the same age usually.
Yeah, so you've not got nobody to share your worries with, have you? And your doubts and your fears and everything else that goes along with it. Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
We set up September 2019, so we got 7 months in before exams were cancelled.
Perfect timing then, guys. Perfect timing, yeah.
For a business that kind of essentially is trying to help parents with their teens to get better exam results, it's not been ideal timing. But it's presented opportunities and helped us diversify and
because parents have been contending with homeschooling instead, and then grades, and I spent a lot of time on our Facebook page interpreting the random government announcements. So whenever somebody would go, Gavin Williamson, blah, 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 something about exams, and parents would all be like, what does this mean for me and my child? I'd be able to go on and explain things. And that made a big difference in terms of our business growth, I think. So between supporting parents with the idea of homeschooling and dealing with all the crises, it pushed us to go faster into the Parent Guide to post-16, because we had parents moving on from our first year of year 11s who'd not even done exams and were now facing the challenges of A-levels, which is a big jump at the best of times. So it's made us expand that a little bit faster, but it's not been the ideal start to a business.
And I suppose it's probably even more scary for parents in a way with the homeschooling thing, suddenly, people aren't teachers. It's not their role in life, and then suddenly you're expected to, sit the kids down in front of screens and things and prompt them and cajole them. It must have been a hell of a job. Luckily, I was quite a bit older than that, so we don't have to worry about that. But it must have been a real nightmare. So you just came along at the right time, guys.
Well, yeah, we think so. Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of great feedback from our members, and it's nice that our original Year 11 members are now doing post 16 or doing Year 13. Sorry, so it's our kind of first all the way through, as it were. But we now do Year 10 all the way through to Year 13. So with ideas to expand into Key Stage 3, but that's not for this year.
No, it sounds like you've taken on enough at the moment.
Yes.
So whose idea was it then? What happened? Did it come as a blinding flash of inspiration to one of you, or what was it?
I'd like to claim everything on this. However, I'm going to let Emily explain that she's the genius around these parts.
Well, bear with me because I need to go back just a smidge before this. I was thoroughly miserable at my job, had a bit of a mental health wobble, and we decided that my sanity was more important than my salary, and we needed to find some alternative to me teaching, and ideally get Paul out as well because he wasn't loving it either. And we started, I did various random odds and ends and things on Amazon, and selling classroom posters and stuff. And then we started Form Time Sorted, which is a website designed for form tutors to help give them all the resources they need so they can have a really productive form time without having to do any kind of planning. And it's really low maintenance. So when somebody comes in with a drama, you can actually go and sort it, and everyone else is still gainfully employed. But neither of those things were quite doing what they needed to do in terms of paying the bills. And then we were sat, what was it? It was a Facebook group post. So our daughter was still at primary school, and one of the fellow parents, because we still had Facebook groups at that point for primary kids, one of them had posted, they've got this maths homework and I don't get it. I don't know how to help her with it. And it was on bar modelling, which is something none of us did at school. It's a newer way of explaining things, and I was trained in it because maths teacher, and it just kind of set off this light bulb. No one is helping parents. Parents want to be able to help their kids. Nobody is there supporting them. There is nowhere that you can look up as a parent easily in one place what the heck is a fronted adverbial and how do you do bar modelling and all of the other things. Somebody needs to do something about this. So we did some research, and sure enough, there really wasn't anyone doing anything. So we thought, we can use our knowledge as teachers, we can use our knowledge as parents of teenagers, because we've got that too, and see if we can create something that's really massively helpful. And hopefully that's what we've managed to do. Yeah, it was all down to bar modelling and maths homework.
Wow, who would have thought that?
Yeah. Well, I suppose the teachers haven't got time either to help the parents either, have they? So,
well, another part of it is that we, having been teachers and as parents, we've all done parents' evenings. We've been on both sides of the table, and the 5 minutes, if you're lucky, 10 minutes, and if you do 10 minutes, there's a stroppy parent behind you because you're nicking part of their time slot. There's all sorts of pressures, and you don't get the information across. You don't know what your child needs to do to improve. You might get their latest test scores. Well, who cares? They're doing really well, they're doing okay, they're doing badly, but it doesn't tell you what you need to do, or you haven't got time to impart. This is the key thing they need to focus on, and this is how you can help them. And there's none of that. It's literally in and out. And I think, well, I know that what we do really helps to fill that sort of 5 minute void. You can ask as many questions as you want as a member, and we will take all the time in the world. And whilst we may not know the individual scores for each child, because obviously we're not teaching them, how they can improve their revision, how they can prepare better for exams, how they can, all the questions that parents probably want to ask, they apply to most students, and we've generally got the answers. And if we haven't, we research them, and we love creating new resources. So,
yeah.
So when you decided to start this, then, what were your initial thoughts? Did you think, well, this is a brilliant idea, we can't wait to get started, or did you have a bit of, oh, hang on a minute, can we do this? What was going through your mind? Is it going to work? What did you think?
At the time, as Emily said, she was having a bit of a wobble at work. and then I think we were walking to pick up our daughter from school. And she said, "Oh, yeah, if I could concentrate more on the different aspects of the businesses we were thinking of, could I go part time?" And I think it's almost like she's asking permission. That's not the sort of relationship we have. And I was like, "Yeah." She's, "What?" And I think we literally ran to pick the child up, ran back, typed out the request to go part time, and then I can't remember the exact time scale, but certainly within 12 months, it was a full-on resignation
and then I started nagging him to start stepping back.
Well,
so
teaching pays the bills, and it's when you're starting up a business, as anyone who's done it, the bills are still there. You've still got to earn sort of adult money and be a sensible So we couldn't both just quit on the same day. We had to sort of phase it. So Emily going part time, then quitting completely. I was still full time, but the plan was always get the business to a level where I could then start stepping back. And I think my last day of teaching was literally the last day of before the pandemic hit. So March the 23rd, whatever it was, and that was my last day in the classroom. So
thank goodness.
What sort of roles do you have in the business? And do you have different roles within the business? Is somebody responsible for finance, maybe the maths teacher? Is somebody responsible for the marketing? How do you divide up the tasks and the roles that you do?
No, Emily's basically a gigantic nerd. When it comes to anything to do with the website, web development, probably just any ideas, they tend to flow through Emily. I do a lot of the content writing. So Emily comes up with the plans, and I do creating, making her ideas come to fruition.
Yes, he's more of the operations side of things, but it means everything kind of works and runs smoothly. And actually, Paul does the finance side of things, which is magical because I don't like doing it. Maths, yes. Finance, no. Because I find it takes me away from the stuff I like doing, which is tinkering with websites and making systems work together. So when we first, I think it was April when the business idea happened. We didn't launch until September. So we had plenty of time to really, really, really carefully plan out how it was going to run and how we were going to make sure it was super leveraged, so that we weren't having to spend all our hours, having as teachers spent all our hours working constantly, evenings, weekends, the whole everything. We wanted to have a bit of our lives back. And so it was all mapped out. We planned out all the content. We had a lot of the stuff ready to go. We started building up our audience and things. So when we then launched, it was actually not like too much work because we'd done all of the hard stuff beforehand. And we write a regular weekly email for our members, and we have a fortnightly Q&A for so we alternate between GCSE and the post-16 membership. So it's an hour a week plus the email stuff, and then it's whatever we decide we're focusing on. So while we've been renovating the house, we've kind of stepped back from creating new things, which has been handy, and spent a bit more time painting walls and moving boxes.
Yeah, and that's good. That freedom. That's good, and it takes your mind off things sometimes. It gives you that that step back moment, doesn't it, to think about other things as well. Frees your
compared to the life we used to lead as teachers, passing ships in the night, we just we just have so much more quality time. And during the day, if the house is an issue, or trying to get the house finished is an issue, if we need to dedicate a day to it because we want to move in, then we can do that. We've got the flexibility. We do have meetings, as in any business. I'm spending a lot of time working with parents or teens or both on personal statements and how to get a brilliant personal statement for university. And obviously that closes soon because the UCAS deadline lapses, but spending a lot of time doing that, which is a slight diversification from what we normally do, but I enjoy doing it. It's part of my favourite. It's a favourite part of my job as a sixth form tutor. So it's just the flexibility and the ability to choose what we do and when we do it is amazing.
It's the difference between when our daughter would get an award in an assembly or something at primary school, and we'd have to beg, borrow or steal the time off, and you'd be clock watching the whole time, and you'd end up having to sprint out, do the scuttle of shame past all the chairs, like, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, but I have to. And we don't have to do that anymore. We can work around what we need to. So it was nice to give ourselves the time to plan it all out to be as leveraged as it is.
Have you found that's one of the best things about what you do now, then, working together? Is it the freedom that it gives you now? Is that one of the nicest things you have?
Yeah.
I think that's a really big thing.
And our business planning meetings are one of the best bits, I think, because we discovered purely by accident that we do our best business planning when we go for a spa day together.
Oh, right. Oh, try that one, yeah.
That's cracking ideas, I tell you. And we come back relaxed because, if nothing else, genuinely, it takes us away from the computer, from the emails, from the constant pings and notifications, from all the other things that distract you. And so, we've created some really good stuff on spa days. It's a great excuse.
Yeah, because you do get distracted. We sit next to each other in the office, and we'll say, "Oh, well, we need to work on this," and then something will come in, and then the phone will ring, and then the cat will be at the door or whatever, and you're just like. Ooh.
And I'm the world's worst for distractions. I find it hard to focus sometimes. I'm the next big shiny thing.
I'm gonna say we can't sit next to each other in the office.
No, we when Paul first quit his job and started working full time from home, we were both working in the lounge at home. I had a desk, Paul was sat on the sofa on a laptop, and as far as I was aware, everything was totally fine. And then one day, out of the blue, maybe a couple of weeks later, Paul said to me, "We need to talk." At which point I obviously panicked. Unhelpfully followed up, looking at my panicked face with, "This isn't working." Oh, 2 weeks of alone in the house together, and honestly, I've broken our whole marriage, really? No, he then explained that I have a tendency to talk to myself or my computer or the cat randomly throughout the day. And being the very well-trained husband that he is, he automatically, if I'm talking, knows he ought to be listening. And it was distracting him and just throwing him off his game. He was, couldn't focus. So since then, we've had to have separate offices, and it's worked much better.
Right. Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah, we should think something like that. Yeah.
It's just a constant monologue of drivel, because she can be talking about the website not working and whatever she's done wrong or however she's about to fix it. And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I am still paying attention just in case it was an important husband-wife moment and I was being asked to do something.
Or if I could buy something.
Yes.
You tend to be like that. Should be working away on I can't get this. Oh, this isn't working. Oh, I can't do this. And I'm thinking, well, should I say anything now, or should I just ignore that? Is this aimed at me?
Is it a request?
Is it a request to help?
To jump into action?
And then eventually I think, maybe it is a request for help. And I'll say, well, usually I say, have you tried Googling it? Or let me have a look. Again? Yeah.
And switch the computer on and off again, yeah.
And that does solve a lot of problems, actually.
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm. It does. So have you got some visions and goals for the business? I know you're relatively new, but have you got a long-term plan for this? Is it a lifestyle business, or are you looking to go sort of global? Are you wanting to grow it into a big enterprise where you have 50 staff or whatever? What is it? What is your ambitions?
A balance of both, I think, more towards the lifestyle end. The idea is to expand backwards so that we then cover all of the phases of education, because we can do Key Stage 3 because secondary teachers, but when it gets to primary, that's not so much our zone of expertise, so we'd need to take someone on to run that. But it's perfectly organisable and applicable to all the different education systems. So at the moment we cover England and Wales, really, because Scotland have their own system and Ireland have slightly different setup with their exams. So in terms of the study skills, it's all universal, but with the exam side of things, slightly different. So we would like to expand to cover all of that. But there's also loads of different kind of things we'd like to do. We're on a mission to try and make the exam years less stressful for parents and for teenagers, so that you can do this as a team. It shouldn't be a battle because you're on the same side. And there are so many little simple things that you could do to make everything much easier for everyone involved. But you don't know what you don't know. So lots and lots of plans, but without it being too much, too kind of, we like the fact that we can be quite flexible with what we do, and it's very carefully designed that way, but we want to help as many parents as we possibly can. So
I mean, it started off as Parent Guide to GCSE, and as we've said, it's gone on to Parent Guide to Post-16 as well. And that is aimed at membership. So it's parents who will be our members. So it's individual parents will sign up, etc. But the latest plan, I suppose, is to include schools in that. So we're going to be offering what we do to schools, so that school can sign us up, and all of their parents can access our resources. So it's Rome wasn't built in a day. It's something that we are going to do. We're going to do it probably within the next couple of 3 months. But it's one of those things that percolated from the spa day, and it's just about how how to structure it, how to do it. Do they get the same benefits as our individual members? There's lots of questions that we haven't quite got our heads around yet. But
it's a big thing for schools, is that parental engagement. There's the triangle between the student, the school, and the parents. And when that's properly meshed together, that's when the magic happens. That you need that communication between all three. And schools struggle, I think, to get parents engaged for various reasons, mostly because they're massively underfunded and overworked, and there just aren't enough hours in the day. So if we can help to bridge that gap, then I think the big statement that we used to talk about at the beginning was improving the experience of education from the outside in, because we tried from the inside and we couldn't fix anything. There's too much red tape, too much.
So did you work at different schools?
Sorry, well, we started on the same day at the same school as trainees, and at the time we were slightly married to different people, which is we're just because
slightly being the operative term there.
We were just friends because we were colleagues, part of the same new cohort into teaching, and we're all keen, and but I had children at the time, young twins. So I was, all the social events, I generally wasn't there because I was busy sort of, being the changing nappies, all that kind of stuff. So, even though we knew each other, it wasn't until 3 or 4 years later and a couple of divorces that we got talking about divorce. And
that was that.
It's kind of
not looked back.
It kind of, the bond was formed, and
gossip of the school.
Somebody's got to be.
Goodness.
So do you think then that working together now in this sort of situation has strengthened your relationship? Has it added anything?
Oh yeah, honestly, it's amazing. I think we are very lucky. We love our business. We love working on our business. Some days aren't great days because for whatever reason, just with that, we keep talking about this house renovation. It is quite stressful. Anyone who's done anything, whether it's painting one wall to doing an entire renovation, which is what we're doing, it is a bit stressful. And sometimes you just can't operate. You can't, you're not sleeping the night before because there's noise going on. There's dust, all that kind of stuff. And we have that sort of perfect balance between we need to get this done. In that case, we'll just sit and work on it together, or sit separately, obviously, to avoid the talking to yourself, and then the next day we can have off, and that kind of dynamic where we know what we need to do. Each of us has our own niche, and it all comes together. We are very lucky, and definitely strengthened us.
There, you hear the stories of so many couples who, throughout the pandemic, forced to spend 24 hours a day together all of the time, driving each other bonkers. We have not at any point, even I think with all the renovation stuff, we've not got snappy with each other. We've had our little frustrations and a bit of a grump, but not with each other. And I think it has strengthened our relationship between the working together and the being together all of the time, because you're not allowed out the house.
People that we've had on the podcast in the past, it's same for them. It seems to every time strengthen a relationship with working together, which is good. I mean, you get a lot of people, I couldn't work with the wife, couldn't work with the husband and all that, but it's like we work together all the time. We don't have any, apart from when you're on the computer, but we don't have any issues. we don't have any issues, do we? We don't have any problems. No, it sounds like the same as you guys. It's we just sort of rub along quite nicely, really.
Yeah, I think having been teachers and the amount of hours, and I know that if you are a teacher, you will understand this. And if you're not a teacher, you probably just think we get more holidays than every profession put together.
Spoiler alert, we don't.
The hours that we both put in and the lack of ability to spend quality time together was ridiculous. And now, because we've had that life for, we have 15 years together as teachers, we now know that what we have is something really special. And we're very lucky to have that ability to do our own thing. Oh, Emily's very special.
So what if one of you's a little bit down? What, is there something? Does the other one do something, or do you just get out of the way, Paul? Is that?
Well, I think I'm sort of quite. I'm going to go with level-headed. I'm sure there's better descriptions. Emily can be a bit more up and down, but when she's not feeling it, bearing in mind her brain is ridiculously, she'll go to bed one evening talking about, I need a strap line for something, and she'll be talking about it as she goes to sleep, and we can't come up with anything, and it's really frustrating. She wake up in the morning and she's got it. It's like, well, where did that come from? Because I've been asleep, and it's just I woke up and there it was. So she has her moments, but sometimes I think she'll happily admit she's not feeling it, and she'll take a
mental health day. Yeah. Yes.
And if that means a whole day off, spending a bit extra time with the daughter, or just literally, watching Marvel back to back, then that is fine. But then she'll work all weekend, and it won't just be all weekend. It'll be a 16-hour day because she's got this project that she really wants to deliver on, and that's why I think in terms of teaching, I mean, she's massively lost to the profession, because her ability to have an idea, sort it, and get it out there is fabulous.
Yeah, when I get in the zone, I'm in the zone. And the perfect thing about this relationship and the fact that we do work together is when I am in the zone, if anything throws me off, if I'm interrupted, if I stop, that's it. I'll probably lose it. So Paul will just come in and gingerly just like pass me a plate of food or a cup of tea or whatever, and then leave again. And stuff happens. It gets done, because otherwise I would just either stop if I was dying of starvation, or work through the day and forget to eat, because I get like that. And as a teacher, you get used to going without snacks and toilet breaks and drinks because you never get time. But
what is the best thing about work? If you could put it down to one thing, what is the best thing about working together? What do you think?
Flexibility, maybe. Ability to, just do our own thing at our own time. We have schedules, but they are quite flexible.
Yeah, I like the fact that I've got someone who I know I can bounce ideas off, and we're quite often kind of half of each other's brain, and sometimes I just need to talk at you and you just need to smile and nod, and that helps me figure something out. But a lot of the time I'll say something, you'll jump back with something I hadn't thought of, and between us we come up with something 23 times better than we would have done on our own. So yeah, I think because we know each other so well, that's why we work together so well.
Yeah. And in your downtime, I think we've sort of more or less touched upon this before, but just to go back to it again, in your downtime, do you talk about the business, or do you say, right, it's 5 o'clock, it's Friday, that's it, we're not going to talk about it now until Monday morning?
We've never really done that. We've it's slightly a 24/7 operation, but
but also not.
But not. Yeah, that flexibility to sort of be on it when we need to be on it. If we've got a launch coming up, or the membership is open and things are busier than because we don't open the membership all year. It's just there's 2 points, which is kind of generally at the start of September and just after Christmas. We so if it's busier, we need to work longer hours. But in those quieter periods where we're just, for example, if you're creating resources, which is, we love doing it, but it doesn't have to be done today or tomorrow. It just has to be done. So we've got that ability to sort of work when we need to, and just make sure we keep ahead of all the things we've got to do. So,
and do you think that's because you enjoy it as well? Because you actually enjoy what you're doing? That makes a difference. If you enjoy something, it's not work, is it? It's not a chore, is it? It's nice.
Yeah. So we have time periods where we will deliberately switch off. So if we're trying to have some family time and all watch a movie or something, then we switch off. If we're going out with some friends, it's we don't then talk shop. But otherwise, because we do genuinely love what we do, it's just part of, if something pops into my head and I think, oh, that would be a good idea, then we talk it out.
Share it.
Yeah, I think when you've got your own business, there is this sort of crossover, isn't there, between life and work, and they go on about work-life balance, but I think it's just that interlocking. It's just life, isn't it? It's interlocking.
It's like we do sometimes. We can often be out walking or doing something, and one of us will have an idea, and we'll we'll just bring it up. Oh, I've had this. Mainly because if we don't, we forget about it 2 minutes later. You know what I mean? So if you don't get it out there, I'm the worst. If I don't say it then and get it out, and Tracy's like my little Jiminy Cricket, remembers everything. If I don't say it, it's gone. 5 minutes later, she'll say, "What did you say?" I don't know. I've forgotten. I can't remember. I've had some brilliant ideas and I can't remember any of them.
Yeah, I text it to myself, and that way there's just this long thread of text messages from me that's ideas and things I need to remember, which would make no sense to anyone else.
So to summarise, Emily talks to herself and she texts herself. But we do get on really well as a couple.
Have you got many friends, Emily? Do you get out much?
Not really. Not in the last couple of years.
And where do your family fit into your plans? You said you've got a daughter and
twin sons, yeah. So,
well, the boys are at uni now, so don't see a huge amount of them. And particularly over Christmas, there's been a fair bit of COVID going around between us. Yeah. So they couldn't come and stay anyway because of the COVID situation. Plus, we haven't got anywhere for them to stay because of the house renovation. So, they're at uni, they're happy. And we see them from time to time, but our daughter, she's 13, and she's the I guess the focus, is that the right way of putting it? She's the one who lives with
She's the one who takes up most of our attention.
That's teenage daughters, I think, though, isn't it? They do take a lot of focus.
She's. She, I think, massively appreciates that we now have so much more time for her than we used to. And it means that when she announces she wants to have a Spider-Man fest and watch all of the Spider-Man movies in a row, I can do that with her. And so that's been really lovely. Part of the point of the house and the renovation and things is to create a big family space, because we want to do very much what my parents do and have all the kids come back to us for Christmas with their families as and when that happens, and have that kind of big family gathering situation.
So it's nice, that, isn't it? Yeah.
So it's a lot of this is about preparing for the future so that we can do that stuff, because that's what's important to us. So
I think we've established what Emily's.
I was just about to say,
most annoying habit.
My favourite question was
Ian's favourite question.
This is my favourite question. What I like to do is ask, and I think I think Paul's had already sort of alluded to the part of it. Ask each of you. Now you're working together perhaps more closely. What is the other's
most annoying
work habit? Sorry, not any other habit. what So we'll ask you, what is Paul's most annoying work habit?
I don't know about work habit. He does tend to leave things until a little bit last minute, only on the things that are actually time sensitive, and then he'll be like, oh no, I haven't done the thing, and then he'll have to sit and tap away. But that's more his problem than anyone else's, because it always gets done in time, so it's fine. I don't think I can count leaving cupboard doors open in the kitchen.
It's a big problem. It's a big problem.
Yeah.
And when we get the new kitchen next door, I mean,
so many cupboard doors and drawers.
I hope they're self-closing.
I think from my point of view, the thing that I said about Emily, her ability to deliver on a project and finish it and get it done and close it down on her computer, I'm more likely to have about 500 tabs open, because I'm kind of dabbling. I'd much rather get stuff finished and done, and that's maybe a New Year's resolution, possibly, just because there's too many things that I start it and I don't finish it, and then I'll come back to it later. And when you come back to it later, you don't always remember exactly where you're up to. So it's much easier just to ignore potential distractions and just get it done and get it signed off almost.
Yeah. I'm a bit that way myself. I'm, like I say, easily distracted. I've started using the Pomodoro technique. I'm sure you must have heard of it, where I've got a little timer now on my computer and I set myself 25-minute blocks. But I forget about that sometimes.
I forget to set the timer,
or I forget to turn it on and just run away in the background. So I feel your pain there, Paul. I know it's like I get distracted, jump from one thing to another.
I've started trying to block my time a bit. So I've got an app on my phone that then, so I've just got a recurring, half an hour here to check and catch up on emails, same time every day. And so it'll ping up and say, it's time to start checking on your emails. And then how did you get on with checking your emails when it's supposed to be the end of that? So that's
good. What's that one called?
What's it called? Yeah.
Hang on.
We might use that
steal
one.
That one.
Let me find it. You might have to come back to me in a minute because I can't remember now.
Would you? If you could turn the clock back, would you do it all again? And would you change anything? Would you do anything differently? And what would that be? Oh God, there's 3 questions.
Well, I think probably getting Emily out of teaching sooner would definitely be the thing that we would change. I think the way that we phased ourselves out of teaching in a sensible fashion to make sure the money was still coming in, I think that was spot on. We got some feedback. I can't even remember who it's from a member saying, if we were a shop, you go into our shop, there's only one product on the shelves, and that was the Parent Guide to GCSE membership. And that's kind of a bit of a light bulb moment, I guess, where we had to diversify. So we do have the post-16 membership now, and then we have individual products which people can buy. They don't have to be members to buy them. Like GCSE toolkit aimed at the students to try and help them to achieve GCSE success, and lots of other things. The personal statement thing I alluded to, personal statement course, they can buy that and hopefully work through the personal statement themselves, or they can then use me as a mentor to help them through it. So there's lots of different, the shelves are stacked now rather than being just that one product. And I think, if we were to do it again, we'd probably, bear in mind there's only 2 of us, just try and get more products out there sooner. And then once they're out there, develop them sort of over time.
The name, by the way, of the app is Structured. It's an iPad app, which you can do on your phone as well. I don't think it does a desktop version, but that's what I need for notifications. So bought into, because as teachers we'd never done kind of marketing before and sales and things like that. We bought into quite a lot of different mentoring options. Some of them were brilliant, some of them were atrocious, and some of them we're still arguing about why we should have our money back because they were really atrocious. And so I think with a bit of hindsight, we would probably do a little bit more reading and working out our own way, although I have read almost every business book ever in the history of the world, and I've got a Kindle full. It's ridiculous. I think that would have been nice. That would have made a difference in terms of psychologically how much money we put into the business to the point where then we could start paying ourselves rather than start paying ourselves back, which is where we were for a long time. So
it's worth at this point just giving a quick shout out to the 1% Club with John Lamerton and Jason Brockman. They were brilliant in our early days as mentors. So
good. I'm sure they'll appreciate that.
Yeah. And you two do a podcast as well, don't you?
We do. We have the Parent Guide to GCSE. So we started with John Lamerton actually for our first guest, and then we've done guests with English teachers, language teachers, specialists in subjects. And we've also done more general study skills kind of things, talking about exam stress, all the useful things that as the parent of a teenager, you kind of need to know about. And we've diversified slightly and done some difficult but important conversations to have with your teenager. So stuff like racism and gender and sexuality, all the stuff that you should talk to them about, but you'd rather gouge out your own eyes. You just don't know where to begin. So we've had experts come on and help us figure out how we do that. And we've also done lots of things for Children's Mental Health Week and stuff. So it's been really lovely. We've got to talk to some brilliant people.
Oh, yeah. That's what we found with the podcast. We get to talk to some brilliant people.
Yeah, we've met some really nice people. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
So if you had any tips or advice that you'd give someone who was thinking of going into business with their husband or wife, what would it be?
Have separate offices.
Separate offices.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think.
Do it. I think is the other bit of advice, because there's a bit of trepidation going into what we're doing, but it's been a great experience, and I think we've both grown from it and love what we do and
wouldn't go back.
Would not go back. No.
No, you can just see that from your face, is that you just love what you do now, and it's made such a difference to your lives.
It does make a difference.
Yeah, that's great.
Excellent. Yeah,
lovely. Thank you very much. So what we'll do is we will put all your details in the show notes.
Well, just before you go, would you, if people do want to get in touch with you, how do they do that? What's the best way?
So we are on Facebook. If you search Parent Guide to GCSE, we've got a Facebook page, and we've got a Facebook community as well. So providing that place for parents to go and talk to each other about their worries and their stresses, and is your school doing this too, and so on. Ditto for Parent Guide to Post 16, or you can go to the websites, which are parentguidetogcse.com and parentguidetopost16.com. We like to keep it simple. So if you Google that, Parent Guide to GCSE, you'll probably find one of ours somewhere very near the top, one would hope.
Yes,
right,
yes.
okay. Do you use the LinkedIn platform as well? Are you on LinkedIn?
Paul is more the LinkedIn guru. I'm more the Facebook sort. So
yeah, LinkedIn. I've given you the links for the show notes.
Oh, right, we got that.
Yeah, we do use it, and has it been as effective as we had hoped? Probably not, but always learning.
Yeah, and, just know where your audience is, isn't it? And Facebook probably is for parents, isn't it?
Yeah, probably more so. It's not. It's not like B2B, is it? It's more.
Yeah.
But there are parents, of course, on LinkedIn.
There are parents on LinkedIn.
It's true. It's just not necessarily the place to rant about your teenager, and politely and obviously, and you can do it anonymously if needs be. But it's just a slightly different. I don't know.
Dynamic, I suppose.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. No,
okay.
That's great.
Excellent.
Lovely. Well, it's been really good talking to you, and hopefully, you'll get some parents listening to your podcast and signing up for your services, because
sounds brilliant. I wish I'd been around when Gemma was and Oliver would have been good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Would have been all over it.
Yeah. No, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure talking to you as well. It's been really nice.
Thank you very much for having us on.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're welcome, and thanks again.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. So Tracy, what's our knowledge share for this week?
This one's a good one. I think you use this one quite a lot. It's called whocalled.co.uk. Basically, it's a free website that allows you to quickly and easily find out who's calling you. So if there's a number that keeps ringing and ringing you that you're not sure about, it might be a dodgy one. If you put this into the search on this website, it'll tell you whether it's a legitimate company or somebody trying to scam you.
Yeah, it's really useful, this actually. I use it quite a lot, and it's amazing how many scam calls you get. It's a nightmare.
You do.
I do, don't know why. I don't know why.
We'll also put the details in the show notes too.
Well, great share there. Get in touch and let us know if you try it and what you think.
So we're almost at the end of this week's show. Just as a reminder before we go, don't forget to book your place at one of our online networking events where you can meet some great business owners and build those business relationships. We believe that the best business comes from the best relationships. Don't forget the link is in the show notes.
We'd also like to mention our books, which are available on Amazon. How to Improve Your Business Networking Skills, which contains 52 tips to help you with your networking journey. And our Notably Networking, one-to-one networking notebook, is a place to keep all your notes from those follow-up one-to-ones that you have. And last but not least, we have our 90 Days to Your Success journal, where you can plan, set and plot the actions you will take to achieve your goals in 90 days.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this week on In Business Talk 2. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all that we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. And please follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd really appreciate it. Until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together
we are In Business.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.